For today's session, our topic is all about CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. A CSS is a computer language for laying out and structuring web pages. So it can be, you can use it can be an HTML or XML. CSS is a style sheet language used for describing the presentation of a document. It is written in a markup language such as HTML. So this is an example. So if you make or create a CSS, at least you need to create first an HTML files. So the CSS, in other words, the CSS is the one who control your presentation, your style, your page layout, and so on and so forth. Then we have here the history of the World Wide Web Consortium. The World Wide Web Consortium is an organization for the World Wide Web. It is founded on October 10, 1994 and currently led by Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee is the creator of the web, then Hakon Wimley is the one who proposed and developed the CSS. So the CSS is maintained by the World Wide Web Consortium. In other, yeah, yes. Next is, so in other words, class, and the HTML is used to create the actual content. This one. This one. It is used to create the actual content of the page. This is the written text. This one. And then the CSS is responsible for our design of your web page. Mga different effects, etc. Next is we have the types of CSS. So we have the inline, internal, and external. So inline style sheet are placed inside the HTML tags. An inline style may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. To use inline style, add the style attribute to the relevant element. The style attribute can contain any CSS property. So you put the style inside the HTML tags, inside the body section. While the internal style sheet is an style sheet may be used if one single page has a unique style. Internal style sheet are defined within the style element inside the head section. Same with the external, nasa head section din siya. So the external style sheet is a separate document where all the style sheet information are stored. Each page must include a reference to the external style sheet file inside the link element. So the link element goes inside the head section. So the link is known as an empty tag. So ito yung laman ng link. So we can change this one, yung Gonzales, yung naka-underline. You can change this file name if you want. Pero ito hindi siya pwedeng, you cannot change this one. So the external sheet put this link element in the head section. So pupunta tayo dito, type the link space relative equal sign double quotation style class, be careful in spelling and spacing. Remember, the CSS is a case sensitive type equal sign double quotation text slash CSS double quotation Hyperlink reference equals sign double quotation. Example, I want the file name is yon Gonzalez, my surname. That CSS. This is my file name in my CSS. Double quotation, space, slash. So this is my link element. So I created two HTML file. The other file name is me. So gusto ko rin siyang mag-link same CSS file name. So instead of typing it again, I want to copy this one. Control C, then activate my other notepad here. I will paste it here by pressing Control V or right click paste. So same. So I have two HTML files. So after putting the link element, open this in your, save it of course by pressing Control S. So I already opened here in my Internet Explorer. So ito siya. This is my other one and then this is the other HTML files. Next is, after putting this link element, just continue. I'm going to continue our topic. So next is, the external style sheet can be written in any text editor. The file should not contain any HTML tags. The style sheet file must save with .css extension name. Then the cascading style sheet allows you to control your page layout or a simple way to add style. So this is the example. Before, ito lang yung ginagawa natin, but now with CSS. So it has now a presentation. So we can manipulate our web page using the CSS. Why use CSS? CSS is used to define style for your web page, including the design, layout, and variations in display for different devices and screen sizes. CSS solved a big problem. So we have CSS structure and selectors. So in CSS structure, there are three CSS syntax. So the three CSS syntax are the selector, property, and value. Selector is an HTML tags you want to define. So from the word HTML tags, one of the example, the HTML tags are the H1, your H2, it can be your paragraph, it can be your superscript, it can be your subscript. So this is the example class. So yeah, I already have my notepad here. So these are the selectors, the H1, my P, my superscript, my subscript, big, small, the pre. So yan yung mga selectors. These are the example of a selector. So how about the um, property and value? So the property and the value, yan yung mga HTML attributes. So remember the HTML attributes, there are two types of HTML attributes. We have the name and the value. So that name is same with the property. So an example are color. Color is the property, while value, it can be any color that you want. Can be red, orange, violet, green, purple, and so on and so forth. Another example of a property is a line. A line is the property, while the value, it can be right, left, center, justify. So it depends upon you. One more example is the font face, but the font face here in CSS is already deprecated. It is already phased out. So they changed it to family instead of face. So font family is one of the example of the property, while the value, it can be Times New Roman, Arial, Consolas, etc. So when you make or create a CSS, you must put this one, the CSS structure, instead of the HTML structure. So you need this structure. So there are 7 CSS structure. One of these is the selector, the curly braces, the property, the colon, the value, and the semicolon. And number 7 is we have the declaration block. So the purpose of colon here is to separate the property and the value, while the semicolon here is the use or the purpose of semicolon is to separate your properties. If you want, if you want to have more than one properties, you need to put semicolon at the end of the properties. So we have different CSS font properties. So number 1 is, difference between serif and sans serif. So ito siya. So we have 2 types of font family. We have the generic family and font family. So when you say generic family, it is a group of font family with a similar look-alike. Like yung serif and monospace is almost the same. So magkahawig. While in font family, it a specific font family like Times New Roman, Arial, Consulas, Jokerman, etc. So example of a font family, sige. So we're going to use the font family. So open again in Notepad. Don't go here then press file new ha. Don't do that. So open Notepad. So search Notepad. So you need to open again another Notepad for your CSS files. So example on here, when you make or create CSS structure, just only you need to use the CSS structure. No need to use the HTML structure. So one of the structure is the selector. So we have here different selectors. So I will use H1. Don't use H2 kasi wala tayong H2 ginamit. So H1 is the selector. Then enter is space, curly brace, enter is space. So for example, one of the property is the font family, colon, Gabriola, semicolon, curly brace. File, save. What is the file name? So the file name should be this one. Yan. Gonzales.css. You can type this inside the save or just copy the Gonzales.css. So just highlight it, right click, copy, or just press Control C, then paste on here inside the dialog box of save. So inside your file name, Control V as in victory. So I have now here Gonzales.css save. Then, yan. So dapat pareho, Gonzales. Then, activate your Internet Explorer, F5. So kailangan magbago. Yeah. And then F5. Oh, what happened? I think hindi ko siya napalitan. Wait. Gonzales, title, external, hindi ito, yung isa, Gonzales, link rel, style sheet. So I'm going to save it again, save as .html. Save, yes. Then, activate the other one kasi hindi siya nagbago. F5 na. Press F5. So, nagbago na siya. Another properties, we have the Ito. Sabi niya dito, if your font family is more than one word, you must put double quotation. Ayan o, more than one font family. So example, we have Times New Roman. So more than one font family, more than one word na yan. You need to put double quotation. Another example is book, bond, old style. You need to put double quotation. Pero pag one word lang siya, no need to put double quotation in a font family. Next is, we have different font size. The font size properties set the size of the text. So example here, we have the, are you remember the our sizes in HTML? There are only 7. From 1 is the smallest size, while 7 is the biggest size. So the equivalent of 1 there is yung double extra small. Ito yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So kasing laki lang niya no old 1 to 7 sizes. Another is you can use larger or smaller, or you can use the percent, you can use the point, you can use the EM, or we can use the pixel. So this is the example. Ito siya, pixel. So example, we can resize our heading. Example here, font dash size. And another example, font size sample. Ang font size natin, equal sign, 40 pixel. Or, yeah, double quotation, semicolon, Control S, Alt Tab, F5. And another F5. So, lumaki siya. Okay, next. How about, next I think is the style. So in font style, so we can use plenty of sizes. So depende na lang sa inyo kung anong gusto nyong sizes. So another font properties is the font style. So the font style, so this property has 3 values. We have the normal, the italic, and the oblique. So, the normal is the text is shown normally. So, parang walang nabago. While the italic and oblique is the same. Same effect siya. Mag-italize siya. It is the same with the, remember, yung I and EM. So, the I and EM is already pasted out here in CSS. So, italic and oblique na siya. So another is the font style. We have the font weight. Ito yun. So pag nagde-declare ka, like this. And then another is the font weight. So what is font weight? The font weight is to thicken your text. Usually, our old version is our old tags are the strong and the B. So that strong and B is already pasted out here. So, ang tawag sa kanya is, it can be bold, lighter, bolder. So, font weight na yon if you want to thicken your text. So, example, I want soup, curly brace, font, dash style, colon, oblique, semicolon, font, laki. Okay. Example, font dash weight. I want bolder. So, mas makapal yan. Bolder. Then, close mo na siya, curly brace. Then, I want to change the family, font family. I want to apply font family here. So, So, hanap tayo ng font family na dalawa ang pangalan. Example, siguro, Lucida. Ayun, Lucida Console. So, I can copy here if you want or just type it, but I want to copy instead of typing it. So, remember, if your font family is more than one word, you need to put double quotation kasi dalawa po ang pangalan niya. So, double quotation, then semicolon. Then, I will apply size here, font, dash, size, example, larger. Pwedeng ganon. Yan. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun. Yan na siya. Allows. Yan. Naka-italic siya. And then, same with this, I will press F5. On. Next. Another is, we have the CSS color. So the CSS color is a color property refers to the color of the text. Color are specified using predefined color names or RGB, hexa, HSL, RGBA, HSLA, and values. So ito lang yung gagamitin natin, the RGB, hexa, and HSL. This one is only for the latest version like the XML 0, the JavaScript, etc. Then the CSS rainbow is up to 16,777,216 colors. So, ganun karami si rainbow. So, there are three ways to apply colors. One of these is, it is color by name. In color by name, there are 16 colors available. So, 16 yan. And then the other one, color by name, is up to 140 color. 140 standard colors. Pero marami yan. So, you can combine now colors. So, you can use the red or kaya tomato, gray, light gray, navy blue, light salmon, etc. You can research in your Google. So, if you want to apply color in here, example, I want to apply here in my heading 1, in my umbrella, color, colon, yan. Example, I want aqua. Yan. So, Control S, Alt Tab, Alt Tab, then F5. One, F5. Yan. So, another one is, for example, I want to apply color here in my soup or superscript. So, you can use color. Example, you want a beige. Yan. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun, hindi siya kita. So, siguro palitan natin siya. Tignan natin ang crimson. Or, I mean, tomato. Yan. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Wow, ganda ng kulay. So, F5. Yan. Next is, how about if you want to apply RGB instead of color by name? In RGB, we have RGB stand for red, green, and blue. So the RGB has 0 to 255 colors. So the 0 here is the lightest color while 255 is the darkest color. For example, you need to use the red, yung red. So ang sabi niya, red lang, so 255, while green and blue is 0, 0. So I already teach this one last week. So, marunong na kayo niyan. So, sample here. Yes. Sample here. Example. I want to use sub. color. So instead of color by name, RGB, 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 I want green. So, 0, kasi yung red niya is 0, yung green niya is the darkest color kasi green ang kailangan natin. 255, then 0 yung blue niya kasi hindi natin kailangan si blue. Semicolon, and then curly brace. Control S, F5. Ayun siya, yung 2 na yun. F5, ayun, si 2. And shift. Next, how about if you want to apply, you can activate, you can use your paint. So open your paint, then go to edit colors. You can see the RGB and HSL here. So where? So the default color in our RGB is black. So remember, the black has no value because the black is not considered as a color because a black is the absence of light. So kaya siya 0, 0, 0. While white is considered as a color because it is a combinations of colors. So siya yung darkest color. For example, you want to use this one. It's look like a pink color. So the RGB is 255, 128, 128. So you can copy this. So just copy here. So instead of I'm using the green, I want to use this one. So ang sabi niya, yan, pwede ko siyang baguhin. So instead of green, 255. So 128. Then 128. So para siyang peach, orange. Ayan, Control S, F5. So yung green, so para siya magiging peach color. Ayun siya. Ayan. Tapos, pink. Ayan. Ayan. Okay. Another last one in color is the hexa code. So in hexa code, we have an hexadecimal color is specified with the RRGGBB or RGB. So by RGB hexacode, it is composed of 16 digits from 0 to 9, then A to F. The value of A, yan yung 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it has 16 colors. So how about if you want to convert your RGB into hexacodes? So how? Example, I want red. So if you want to apply red on here, example here, remember, may small yata ako, small, curly brace. Example, may in RGB color, colon, example RGB. In RGB, the color red here is 255, 0, 0, then like this. How about if you're going to convert your red into hexacode? So how? So you use hash. So apply the hash code, then remove the open parenthesis. So convert red into hexa. So the value of 255 is F. So we can use single RGB or double RGB. So gagamitin ko double. So F 0, 0, 0, 0. Because yung 0, yung value niya is same with the hexacode. So red ang gagamitin natin. So yun yung code na hexacode. Then curly brace, Control S, F5. So dapat red siya. Ay, wala ba akong red? Ay, small. I think wala akong small here. Meron. Pero hindi siya gumana. Why? What happened? F0 ay sobra ng 0. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Nasobrahan ng 0. Yun. Dito kay cascading style sheet, wala akong dineclared na small. So, wala siyang small dito. So, meron lang dito na small C stored. Dito, walang small akong dineclared. Yan. Okay? Next is, so yung mga umattend ng klase ko online, naintindihan nila to. Yan, yung conversion ng hexacode into RGB, RGB with the color by name. Next is, how about the CSS background? So the CSS background is if you want to apply colors in your background, in your page, in your web page. So how? And also you can change, and also you can apply a background color in your selector at the same time. So in CSS background, so this is the tag for the background color. Yan, background color. Yan, yung sa by selector. So, example, here, I want to apply background color. So, just put body here. So, instead of going to the body section, so just declare body here because you want to change your web page color instead of white. So, you can change it. So, background dash color. Example, I want to use here RGB. The color, for example, is yellow. I can combine here. Dapat medyo light. Yan. Example. Ang hirap mag-combine ng kulay. Ayan, example like this. Para siyang ivory. Para hindi masyado. Ayan. So the color, yeah. So the RGB is 255, yung red niya, green is 255, the blue is 149. Convert that into hexacode. So how do you convert that into hexacode? So if you convert that, so yung 255 again is our darkest color. And so, gusto ko yan ang magiging kulay ng background ko. So, yung 255 natin, gagawin natin hash. So, F. Then, 255 ba? 255, another F. Tapos, sabi niya 149. So, ang equivalent ng 149, it can be A or B. So, pwedeng A. Semicolon. Then, curly brace. Control S. F5. Yan. Okay. Yan. So, I have now my background color. How about if you want to apply a background color in your selectors? So, how do you do that? Select one here in H1. So, background color. Colon. So, kung aqua siya, siguro bagay siya sa RGB. So, kung aqua, ito itsura, siguro bagay siya sa orange. Hindi ba siya pangit? O, kunwari, 255. Tingnan natin, medyo i-light ko lang ng konti yan. 255 using the RGB. RGB, I will copy my RGB here, 255. 157, 111, semicolon, Control S, F5. Yun. Yun siya. Then F5. Yun. Okay? I have now my background color in my selector. So now, the CSS text. So the text formattings. So the text alignment property is used to set the horizontal alignment of a text. A text can be left or right aligned, centered, or justified. So you can use center, left, or right. And then we have here, number 2 is the text decoration. So the text decoration, and the value of text decoration is none. It is often used to remove the underline from the link. So we have here the properties of the text decoration, the overline, the line through, and underline. What is their difference? The overline is the line is above the text. The line through is like a strike through. So remember the strike through. The strike through is already phase out. So, text decoration na siya ngayon. I mean, line through na siya ngayon. Then, text decoration, the underline is line below the text. So, sample here. Example, in my H1, I want to apply text dash align colon center semicolon. So, Control S, Alt Tab, F5. So, nasa gitna na siya. So, F5 ko rin siya. Dapat nasa gitna siya. Another example, I want to use the text decoration. So, in text decoration, gusto ko may line siya above the text. So, pwede siya lagay mo text dash decoration. Decoration colon overline. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun, may line siya. Yan, nasa above the text. F5, yun, magkaka-overline siya above the text. How about if you want to apply again another text decoration? So, dito kunwari, sa soup, maglalagay tayo ng text decoration. Decoration. Line dash through. So, yung line through natin, yan yung strike through natin. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun siya. F5. Yan. Okay, next. Next one is the text transform. So, in our text transform or text transformation, the text transform property is used to specify uppercase and lowercase letters in a text, and it can be used to turn everything into uppercase or lowercase letters or capitalize the first letter of each word. So, yung uppercase is used to big letter, caps lock. Lowercase, it should automatically magiging small letter, while the capitalize, in every first letter of your word will automatically change it to capital letter. So that is the text transform. Another one is the text indentation. So yung text indentation natin in our HTML file, ang tawag natin doon ay the block quotation. But now, the indentation now is, ito na siya. So wala na si block quotation, text indentation na. So usually, our text indentation, we use that in our paragraph. So example on here, where is my notepad? Yan. Sabi niya, the text transform. So example on here, text transform, I want to capitalize all this one, the letter, yung aking heading 1. So, pupunta tayo dito sa heading 1. So, I can use text dash transform colon uppercase. All caps pala. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun, naka-capital na letter lahat using the upper case. Next is, how about the other one, the capitalize. So, yung capitalize, each word, the first letter of the word will automatically capitalize. Yung first letter of the word. Kunwari, yung ating, our paragraph. So, lalagyan natin ng paragraph. Curly brace, text, dash, transform. Transform, colon, capitalize. So, the capitalize will automatically change yung first letter into capital letter, F5. Ayun, no. Ito yung atin, yung first paragraph natin, yung first letter of the word will automatically change it to capital letter. Okay? Next is, how about the indentation? So, yung indentation natin is, we usually use in our paragraph. So, magkakaroon ng indentation ito. So, pag sa keyboard, tab ang ginagamit natin for the indentation. Example here, text, dash, indent. Sample is 25 pt. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun, meron na siyang indentation. So, same with that, F5. Ayun, may indentation na siya. Okay, next is our letter spacing. In our letter spacing is the space in between the letter. And then the other one is the line height. Yung line height naman is the space in between the sentence or in between the paragraph. Yeah, yung sa line height natin. Example, in letter spacing muna and the word spacing. And also, the word spacing is the space in between the word. For example, I have here 3 words, cascading style sheet. I want to have a space in between that word. Example, tayo sa H1. Lagay natin dito. Word dash spacing. I want 1 EM. 1 EM. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. So, I have now a space in between that word. Another F5. Yun. So, may spacing na siya. How about if you want to have a space in between the letter? Kunwari here, I want to use here in soup. Letter spacing. So, I want to have a space in between that letter. Sa under ng ay soup. Colon. 2 EM. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Yun. I have a space in between that letter, F5. Yan. Yan. Okay. Next. How about the line height? Yung line height niya, yung first sentence niya, yung kunwari, yung first line niya, my first paragraph is, your allows you to control. Allows you to control. Yan yung first sentence niya, first paragraph. Then, basta in between the paragraph. For example here, I want here line, I will apply line height on here. Line height, colon, example 3 EM. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun siya. Space in between the paragraph. Yan. Yan. Okay? Yan yung sa line height natin. Okay, next. How about the CSS selectors? So, in CSS selectors, bakit ito ang lumabas? Yan. CSS selectors, dapat ito yung hinide ko. Sorry, ito hide ko. Ito yung i-hide ko. Sorry. Yan. So, ang sabi niya, the CSS selectors are used to find or select HTML element based on their element name, ID, class, attributes, and more. There are types of CSS selectors. There are 5. We have the simple selectors. So the simple selectors are based on name, ID, or class. Number 2 is a combinator of selectors. Yan, the select element based on a specific relationship between them. The pseudo class selectors. Number 4 is the pseudo element selector. And then number 5 is the attribute selectors. So the ID selector uses the ID attributes of an HTML element to select a specific element. The ID of an element should be unique within a page. So the ID selector is used to select one unique element. To select an element with a specific ID, write a hash character followed by the ID of the element. So the example is the ID equals double quotation paragraph 1. So example is yan, paragraph 1. So try natin. So notepad natin, I have here my paragraph. So may paragraph tayo dito. So gagawin natin na papalitan natin ito. So meron akong 2 paragraph. Gawin natin na paragraph. So in paragraph natin, example ay ID. Sabi niya, ID equals para 1. But you need to put double quotation. Don't forget para 1. So ito yung paragraph 1 natin. Another, I have here another ID equals double quotation paragraph 2. And double quotation. So I have 1 and 2 paragraph. Tapos ganun din ang gagawin ko dito kay Emmy na isa. So lalagyan natin dito ID equals para 1. And then another here is ID equals para 2. Paragraph 2. Yan. So just Control S for saving, then save it of course, then activate your CSS. So dito wala na tayong paragraph na isa. So ang gagawin natin, magde-declare na lang ulit tayo ng isang paragraph mamaya. So ang sabi niya, so when you declare the para, of course, so lalagyan daw siya ng number sign. So yung hash, then para 1, example curly brace, text natin, kunwari align, colon, right, semicolon. For example, the color, example ay khaki. Tapos, Control S. Si paragraph 1 lang muna ha. F5. Baka malito kayo, F5. Ayun. Tingnan nyo. Ang color niya, khaki. So, hindi siya masyadong halata. So, hanap tayo ng ibang kulay. Gawin natin siyang chocolate. Gumamit na ba tayo ng chocolate? I think hindi pa. So, instead of khaki, kasi masyadong hindi kita, gagamit tayo ng chocolate. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun siya. Your control. Ayan. So, another F5. F5. Ayun siya. So, yung paragraph 1 natin, ito yung first paragraph 1 natin, kailangan magiging chocolate ang color. At dapat nasa right siya. So, hindi nyo siya kita kasi ang laki ng aking. Ayan, nasa right na siya. Yan o, class, nasa right. So, yun yung first paragraph natin. How about our second paragraph? Pareho lang din. Hash, paragraph 2. Curly brace. Example, ang color natin, example ay, ano ba ang kulay natin? Olive. Kunwari, olive. Yan. Curly brace. Tapos, Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun siya si Olive. So, hindi ko na siya ni right alignment. Naka-default na lang siya F5. How about the others? Ma'am, ba't di nagpalit yung stored? Kasi po, nalagyan na natin to ng effects. Pati ito. Kaya hindi siya nag-chocolate. Lahat ng walang effects, yun na nga, applyan niya ng kulay. Okay? Next, another. So, yun yung gamit nung paragraph. So, another is yung selector. Another is the class selector. The class selectors selects elements with a specific class attributes. To select the element with a specific class, write a period character followed by the name of the class. In the example below, all HTML element with the class center will be red and center alignment. So example, ito. So maglalagay ka raw ng period. So paano? So example, syempre magde-declare ka muna dito sa ito, yan. Here, in our notepad. In our HTML file. So, maglalagay kunwari tayo dito ng H2 kasi wala naman tayong H2. H2, kunwari class equals center. Double quotation. Lalagyan natin dito ng IT or MPC. And tapos, slash H2. Tapos, kunwari, may paragraph tayo dito. Paragraph class equals double quotation. Example, lalagyan ulit natin siya. Gusto rin natin ang paragraph natin nasa center. Tapos, lalagyan natin ng IT411 slash P. So, may paragraph na tayo kanina. So, kukopyahin ko na lang to class. Iko-control C ko. So, lagyan natin dito kay Emmy. Dito. Ayan. So, kumari dito, lagay natin ng Marikina City. Then, computer class. Ayan. So, Control S natin siya S. Control S. Remember, may paragraph na tayo before. So, dito. So, wala naman tayo nilagay na. Ayan. So, yung paragraph natin, dagdagan natin siya ng, ang sabi niya, maglalagay daw tayo ng center. So, lalagyan natin dito ng center. So, pwede mo siyang ilagay dito. Dot center. Yan. Pagkatapos, gusto natin ang curly brace. So, text. Ang align niya ay center, of course. Semicolon. Ang color niya, kunwari ay, ang hirap mag-isip ng kulay. So, kunwari, yellow-green. Yellow-green. So, yellow-green semicolon. curly brace. Control S, F5. Yun, sa F5. Kita nyo? Color green, F5. Yun. Ensure, yan. Magkahawig si olive kay green. Sorry ha. Mag-isip tayo ng ibang kulay ng yellow-green. Tingnan natin ang seashell. Pwede rin. Or hot pink. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. Ayun siya, hot pink. Hot pink. So, yun na siya. Naka-center na siya. So, yun ang gamit ng ID selector. How about the group selectors? Yung group selectors lang, class, yung kunwari, yung H1 mo, yung H2 mo, yung P mo, gusto mo naka-center, naka-red. So, i-group mo lang siya. So, instead of using this, itong grouping selectors na to, we can use like this. So, kung ano yung gusto mo pare-pareho. So, group selectors doon, grouping selectors ang tawag doon. Hindi ko na i-demo kasi ang dami nang ginamit. So, yun lang yun. Yun ang tinatawag na grouping selectors. So, instead of using this. So, kung pare-pareho na naka-center, tapos pare-pareho ng kulay, gamitin mo na lang yung grouping selectors like this. Okay? Thank you so much. Meron pa pala, CSS comments. Yung CSS comments are used to explain the code and may help you when you edit the source code of a later date. Comments are ignored by browser. So, parang siyang yung comments din, yung invisible comments in our HTML. So, meron din tayong invisible comments. So, example on here, dito tayo sa HTML natin. Example here, in our HTML, our invisible comments, before ito, this one is for the HTML file. So the invisible comments is the exclamation point, dash, 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 then angle, right? Then you can put on here, you can comments here, pwede mo siya ilagay umbrella. So the H1 is all about the umbrella topic. So, dahil invisible siya in the browser, kaya okay lang na maglagay ka dyan ng comments. How about the comments in CSS? The comments in CSS here, yan. So, gamit na gamit ang CSS dito, ay ang comments dito. Example on here, pwede mo siyang ilagay, kunwari, here. So, slash, asterisk, slash. So, this is the tag for your comments in CSS. So, pwede ka maglagay in between yung dash, yung hash FFA ay it look like an ivory color. Yan, ivory color. So, pwede ka maglagay ng ganon. So, yung hash FFA daw is an ivory color, or you can put that is an example of a hexacode. Pwede yon. Another example is, example dito, hindi gumana. May diferensya to. Ito, yung buong yan. So, pwede kang maglagay dito. Yan. Or dito pa lang. Yan. So, example here, ayan. Or you can put dash, space dash, slash, asterisk, slash. So, example, yung text transform. So, ang text transform daw ay hindi lang uppercase. Meron din siyang capitalize. So, para nire-remind ka lang na yun yung mga properties under text transform, meron din daw siyang lower case. So, pwedeng ganon. Or example, merong hindi gumana rito, so pwede ka rin maglagay ng comments. Kunwari, dito banda, hindi gumana. So, lagyan mo ulit ang slash, asterisk, slash. Hindi, ayan, pwede mo lagay, hindi pa gumagana. Or, yan. O kaya pwede mo ilagay sira pa. Huwag mo lang sabing sira ulo ako, sira pa. So, ibig sabihin, pwede kang maglagay ng comments dito kung meron ditong, hindi gumana. So, pwedeng mong balikan. Pwede mo siyang balikan. So, yun ang purpose ng comments. But please, class, use the comments in your activity number 7. I will check it. Okay? Tapos, pwede rin dito, maglalagay ka ulit ng comments dito. Kunwari, as slash, asterisk, asterisk, slash. So, ano ba yung px? So, pwede mong lagay na pixel. Yun. Px means pixel. Px means pixel. Like this. Okay? I think tapos na tayo. Class, dun sa activity, thank you so much, class. Dun sa activity na pinapagawa ko sa inyo na, wait, open ko siya. I think hindi siya naka-ready. Yung nakalagay doon na 2 paragraph like this. Wait, ha. So, medyo confusing kayo eh. Nako-confuse yata kayo dun sa binigay ko na activity. So, example on here, dito tayo sa download para ma-open agad. Activity number here. So, example on here, ako mag-open pa yata to. Okay, guys, dito na lang. Tagal eh, Hanson. So, example on here is, nandiyan na ba? Ayan. Activity. So, hindi ko na kailangan yan. Ayan. Tagal eh. So, example on here sa Word. Where are you, Word? Word. Yan, ito. So, example, yan. Ang sabi niya rito, yan, nasa na? Control C. What happened? Ayan. So, ang nakalagay dito, 3 paragraph, 8 superscript. Ibig sabihin nun, mag-apply ka ng 8 superscript dito sa article na to. So, ikaw na bahala kung saan ka maglalagay na 8 superscript. So, 8 daw na superscript. 3 daw na paragraph, 8 na subscript. So, it depends sa panyo kung saan mo i-apply dito. Okay? So, kasi ito ay external CSS. Okay, so i-apply nyo kung ano yung napag-aralan ninyo dito sa ni-record ko. Thank you so much, class. God bless.